Hello, everyone watching. It's a wrap. Yudi here. Another book review. Let's get into it. Okay, so today I'm really excited about the book we're talking about. You already know what it is. Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. Super. I've been so this book came out into 2021, and I've been seeing like all these book reviews on it. Even though I really watched the book reviews. I feel like people when they give the book reviews don't really give too much of the book, and there's actually not really that much going on in the book if I'm kind of being honest. Like it's not like a whole bunch of plot lines. It's really one story about this relationship between these two characters and the the internal struggle that the main character is going through as a black man, and how it affects his love life pretty much. Yeah. So, Open Water, baby. Open Water. I think I pretty much gave the storyline. So Open Water is about, we don't actually know his name because the book is written in second person. So the whole time the book is referring to him as you. Which I know bothered some people, but it didn't really bother me. So as a fanfic girly, you know, back in the day, the you, like, you was with whoever the fanfic you was reading. So you doesn't really bother me. Or the you referring to him didn't bother me. I know that would probably bother some people. But yes. So the main character is pretty much his love story of, falling in love with this girl that he meets at like a bar, like a friend get together. And she's in a relationship already with his friend, but it's kind of like attraction, and like he's drawn to her at first sight. I don't want to say love at first sight. It's just like he's really like, girl, like I see you, the one, I have to know who you are. Like he's so drawn to her, and they end up becoming friends into lovers, and it's pretty much this love story. And then in that, he's talking about police brutality and um the trauma he faces as like a black man in London, in Southeast London. So yeah, it's, so when I did the haul for this book, I was like, it's really rare that I read works specifically from black men. And the only other book I can think of that kind of like weighed on my spirit like this was Kiese Layman's, but it's a memoir though. Kiese's Layman's Heavy, which was another one that was just like it just it really felt really vulnerable, and in a way like not so appreciated and like so eloquent. And especially Open Water is so poetic, and it talks about love in a way that's so real that even I think like even just as a human being, like that vulnerability, that insecurity, um like it's not really messy. I mean, it is messy that like she was with his friend, but it didn't seem like they was that tight. Like but just like the messiness of like loving someone, you know what I'm saying? Like it really captures it in such a beautiful, poetic way that like really draws you in, and you can almost like highlight this book because you're just like, yes. If you ever like been in love or been in a relationship that's felt like love, like some of the words just really hit. And Open Water, the way, like, at first I was just like, Open Water for the title, but the way that he describes the feeling of being in open water with this person, and like the vulnerability of that, um, and being in open water with, like, there's nothing to like keep you up, you're just kind of trusting and being one with the water and flowing with it. If you've ever been like in the ocean and been in the water, and some people, they be fighting through it, they be wailing, they just don't let the water, be with it, or let that person, help keep you up, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being in that moment. There is a part of being in the ocean that is like being within that moment, and being like letting apart some, like, your body go in a way that feels so poetic and really describes love, because like you can't really, you're just going with the feeling, like you're going with the water. You can't like, there's only so much you can control. Like, you can't really control your feelings. You can only be like in tune with it and be vulnerable. And it's so real, because also the main character, he's Ghanaian, or British Ghanaian. And it's so weird when he's talking about, like, he's going through these emotions, but he just doesn't know how to communicate, like, to his partner what he's mentally going through. And that is so real, as someone who also, because I mean, it's definitely men to an extreme, especially like when you add that like African background. And there's a part of it that you have to like have in order to, like, as a black man, as an African man, like, to just like navigate this world, like um a piece of detachment that you have from your feelings in order to navigate in this world and in this space. But then also the struggle that comes with that is when it's time to communicate your feelings, because you're somewhat detached from your feelings, in order to, like, it's like a coping mechanism to survive. It's just like it becomes difficult to communicate, like, how, like, I'm sad or I'm depressed, and it's almost like you go through this trauma daily. It becomes a struggle to find the words to communicate to someone, this is what I'm going through, or this is how I'm down, or your needs, or your emotional needs. It becomes a struggle, and it touches on that feeling so poetically within this book. It really does. Like, and it's just, like, you just eating it up. I was just eating it up. I was just reading it like, okay. And I like some drama. Let me just say that. I usually like a literary fiction with some drama in it, with a lot going on. And while there's some parts where it's like, ooh, audible gaps, like when they finally like decide to be together, you're just like, and it's not even like, it's kind of messy. It's not super clear. He's not like, be my girlfriend. It's kind of like, again, going with the water, going with the flow, and just following this feeling. It really captures like love. So, like, in the book, he always says, when you're seen, when someone really like sees you, they're not just looking at you, they're seeing you, you're seen. And he relates, because the character in the book, he's a photographer. And he talks about like really seeing someone when you take their photo, and the heaviness of being seen. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Um, yeah, this is one that, baby, I get the hype. I get the hype. I get what y'all, if people don't like really flowery writing, which is also, it's not that bad because it's short. If it was a thick novel and it was flowery like this, after about 100 pages, I would have been like, okay, y'all, let's get to the point, okay? Because he'll spend like like, sometimes I feel like a chapter, because the chapters are really short, they're like 3 to 4 pages. It'll be a chapter of just this him describing like a song, or like their bodies, or it's just like it's like a poem. Like, that's all I can say. And it's not really, I don't feel like it's really moving the plot anywhere, but it's so beautifully written that you're just eat it up, scrumptious. Let me tell you that. Um, and I think I appreciate this just because of like the place I'm in my life. That it even rings even more. It rings so much more truer. Like, yes, yeah, that's the feeling. That's the feeling that I'm looking for right there. Be it like the good or the bad, because like, be it is coming to an end, or just so good. Like it's gonna stay with me forever. Like I'm going to hide. There's only a few books I can think of. Most of them aren't fiction. The ones I'm thinking of are more like essays that I like keep in my collection and like look back and read through as I go through life. And this Open Water is definitely a book that like as I go through life, like I will go back and reread the text because there's something so it was sorry. There's something so let me put down this book. I've been holding the book for like 10 minutes. There's something really poetic about the book. I have to go watch because I know he has some interviews that he's done. So I have to go watch the interviews. Like I said, it reminds me because there's not a lot of literary fiction by Black men that I can think of, apart from like, some people that I've named. And there's just definitely more. I want to, this makes me want to go and look and read more. Like I said, I've read KSA Layman. I know that there's some Black queer writers that I really want to read that I haven't read yet. Want to read for more Black queer, Black gay, writers. So that's just a random thought. I was just like, oh yeah, there's some books I've been wanting to read that I haven't read yet that I'm probably gonna add. But yes, Open Water, 5 out of 5. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, 5 out of 5. Loved it. Loved it. Would recommend. Do you know who I would specifically recommend this to? I would recommend this to somebody who. I would recommend this to Black people, Black couples, but I would recommend this to people who also just like entered or exited a relationship in your 20s, because I feel like loving your 20s, it's complicated. I mean, maybe it's not complicated for everyone. I know some people that have been together forever and have kids and that's it. But like coming in and out of love, like a lot in your 20s is like especially if you've gone to like college or graduated from high school, things like that. Like your 20s is you figuring it out and you figuring out love and your emotions, and like it's just this whole it's just a lot going on, baby, internally. And they're in that place too, because I think these people are like, they're like in their 20s, like figuring out, and it just really speaks to that like first real love. I feel like 20s is your first real love, and that's what this book touches on. And I mean, it touches on other things, if you are tired of books about dealing with like the traumas of the Black experience, if you get what I'm saying. I know some people are like mentally like they just want to read Black joy, like Blackness without the trauma. But I think that this book does it well. Like sometimes I feel like sometimes it's done for me very clunky in a way that's like very surface level in terms of like the experience of Blackness, and I feel like this one is done so poetically and in a way that like I feel like it's done well. So even if that's not like you're all like I'm tired of that, I would still recommend this book. Still read this book. That's who I'm recommending it to. Again, I give it a 5 out of 5. Thank you, Bookstagram and BookTube, for putting this in my life, because I don't know if I saw it like in the library or like in the bookstore, I would be compelled to like pick it up. But yeah. So I'll see you guys in another book review, another video. Let me know if you've read Open Water and your thoughts, if you feel the same. And yeah, I'll see you in another video. Hope you guys have a great day, great week whenever this is coming into your life, and we'll talk later. Deuces.